Yes, yeah, I was very surprised. I don't know if it was tourists or locals or whatever, but just walking from kind of the shopping there area there about a mile away, walking back to the hotel here, just said got said hello to probably 5 or 6 times, took a few pictures, and from just random people walking down the street. So it's I think the city certainly likes to see the NASCAR races, and as I'm leaving the hotel this morning, right, as soon as the cars start up and go by, everyone's trying to catch a peek, right? It reminded me a lot of F1 in Vegas.
Yeah. Do you think it sounds like this will be here next year, but then maybe after that, should they look at going somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure. I think that you go wherever the city wants you to go and supports you. I know that NASCAR is putting an investment in to be here in Chicago. As long as that investment still makes sense to them, I still would like to come back here.
Is Michael going to be here?
TBD, but other ownership will be.
If Larson wasn't such a formidable opponent, would there be the friendly rivalry that's kind of ignited between you two?
Repeat it, I'm sorry.
If Larson wasn't such a formidable opponent, if he was still in Ganassi equipment, if he wasn't driving Hendrick, would he still, would the rivalry have ignited the way it has?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it, and we both have said that a lot of it comes from us running in the same position most times, right? I mean, when you look down to it, we've raced each other for a lot of wins over the last few years, and really, no matter what team he's driven for, he's competed for race wins. So yeah, I think a lot of that is because we run in the same place at the same time most times.
Has the relationship with Kyle changed at all over these last couple of weeks? Just because there's been a more higher volume of incidents over the last couple of weeks. Has the relationship changed at all within the last month or so?
It has its ups and downs, just like any other thing, honestly, and it goes through these moments at times. But I think that both can see through the other side of it for sure.
What did Gaypart say to you after the fact? Because he was screaming at you on the radio. Was it as intense after?
No, it was not as intense after for sure. But in the moment, he's trying to relay some information to me, and I don't think he feels like he had my attention at that exact moment. So that's why the volume probably turned up when it did.
And you mentioned SMT with Logano, and I'm wondering, because Corey LaJoie told us last night that he looked at Carson's SMT after what he did to find out how egregious it was. Can you kind of be judge and jury just looking at SMT?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell certainly those things. I mean, there's certain an element you use common sense, right? You just use your own two eyes and brain to come up with what you think happens. And sure, there's always that element of real data that can back it up, or maybe even cause even more questions to whether it was intentional or not. But I don't think anyone should question kind of the Carson thing last week. I think we all saw kind of how it played out.
What would it mean for 23-11 to get a victory here in Chicago, Michael Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, it would be big. I mean, we certainly feel like we had a great shot at it last year with Tyler, but it's big. That our major partners in Xfinity and McDonald's are the title sponsors here in this event. I think we activated 8 or 9 different things or activities yesterday with our 2 drivers. So it's certainly, we're putting a lot of emphasis on this race.
Do you get that sense as a driver, and then looking at SMT data, watching that race from last year, or any things that you picked up on that you can apply to this weekend?
Well, last year was such a weird thing, right? Because we started in one condition and it kind of was a hybrid, and then went to full dry at the very, very end. And on top of that, right, SVG was able to kind of flip the race with others, right? I think it was the 9, Justin Haley, Kyle Busch, and those guys. So the fast cars that were up front, the Reddicks and the Bells and whatnot, got put to the back when SVG then went to the front. So while I think he's probably definitely the favorite, overwhelming favorite I would not say is accurate. Now, a favorite still is the most likely guy to win, but still, I think the field has just gotten tons better over the last few years. And, if everyone's on the same track position strategy, it'll be a good battle.